Cool. So short meeting today. In terms of DevSync, so I started working on HiveMind and Communities V2, quote unquote. I basically finished working on the PGSQL changes to the queries so that we take into account the community types. For those who didn't follow, basically community types are new kinds of communities that were envisioned by Roadscape initially. The idea is to have community types where it's members only, where only members can post, or where only members can post and comments, which kind of drives some more ideas about creating paid-only communities or communities where you have more control about the content, etc., which has been something requested for a long time. So that works, although I am still talking with various frontends to see how they would prefer it to be enabled on their end, because right now it uses the isMuted tag, which can be a little, can mean a lot of different things. So yeah, maybe we'll add a new column to that. And meanwhile, I looked into some unit testing for my latest changes on Hive D. The issue, I mean, there is a slight issue where basically when we do unit tests and we skip many blocks at once, and if we try to push a virtual operation at that same point, there is some allocation error.
You mean during the skipped? You mean during the skipped? Okay.
Yeah, during that point, it basically blows up. And so right now the solution has been to just not push the missed block v-up on testnet operations. So it's not ideal, but I don't know yet how we'll tackle that. And I have added more unit testing to the other operation, aka the transfer Hive to the DHF to record the current HBD price at that point. Yeah, that was about it for the past 2 weeks.
Okay. So on the Hive side of things, Hive D side of things, we've tagged a version 1.25.1-RC, which just can be used for anyone who wants to launch a testnet with relatively stable set of developed changes. And I don't know if that may be the one that Gandalf is currently running, but I'm probably thinking not. I guess he's probably still running an older one right now.
Not yet.
It is? Okay.
Yes, not yet. It's going to be tested.
Okay, so that's going to be tested, and then we'll switch for that for the testnet. We're creating tests for the newly optimized JSON variant serialization code that we've done recently. We're continuing work on the RC rationalization code. It's obviously a big project. We're working on code to collect and store benchmark data that's generated by the CI, the test and build runs. And we're continuing work on the test tools to test more Hive D scenarios. So a lot of testing work and benchmarking work there on the Hive side. We made some changes to Condenser Wallet recently. We added ability to filter transaction history. And we've also added ability to show details about who's voting on a proposal now. And on Hafa, I guess a lot of work has been on Hafa lately. We did try deploying it to production, but we discovered that some of the apps are still using the old legacy condenser calls to get account history info, and currently Hafa only supported the new calls. So we're finishing support now for adding the condenser calls, the old legacy condenser calls, so that apps don't have to change the way they're talking to the API nodes to get the information. We also modified the schema for Hafa a bit to reduce the storage a little bit more. One of the way right now we were storing with the operations whether we had an extra flag to indicate whether they were virtual or not. And now we're just going to use the operation code to basically at runtime determine if it's a virtual operation or not based on the code itself. And we're doing more testing. So one of the things we've been testing versus Hive D just to see if the account history plugin data matches the same as Hafa. And we're also going to test it by basically running it using Hafa to fill a Hive mind. So that's another kind of extensive test. It's kind of a weird test in a way because HiveMind itself will be becoming a half app, but it is kind of a heavy load test way to do a heavy load test of Halfa. So it should be interesting from that point of view, just see how it performs. And we're continuing work on a pure SQL version of Halfa as well. So far, every time we do benchmarks, that's showing to be better than the Python version of Halfa, but we're still making changes to the Python version too. So we'll see who wins in the end. And that's about it for at least the past couple days. And I don't think I have a list larger than that of what we've been working on. So before that, I guess refer to my post from maybe last week. So that's about it from us.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't have, as I said, we don't have many points. I just want to ask how do you guys do HiveMind indexing testing?
So right now I talked to Andre about that, and he says right now we just do API-based testing.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, because as I would change like some of the core PG SQL code, I was hoping we could do some maybe mock into unit testing into the actual functioning of the things. But if we can't, I guess I'll add some mocks and try to add it into the API. But yeah, I mostly wanted to see if it was like in the plans to add that or do research and development on that, because I guess most of your work has been improving the performance, so there wasn't really a need for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did obviously when you're improving performance, you can break things. So
yeah,
that all the API testing was done for basically, as a black box. Does this thing still work as it worked before the performance testing? So if you want to do if you want to add some unit tests and figure out how to do that, that sounds fine. I don't think anybody's going to necessarily object, but I think we basically had to make sure at an API level that it still performed the same. And I guess that was the most straightforward way to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you had like already plans or stuff you tried that
no,
didn't
as
work.
far as I know, there's been nothing done in that direction at all.
Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe I'll spend some time working on it.
Yeah, I mean, you could throw up an issue and just throw your initial ideas out there too.
Yeah, I'll see. But right now the pipeline tries to sync up to 5 million blocks, right?
I don't know if it syncs 5 million blocks every time or if it's using an existing one. I tried to get that question answered before the meeting. I just saw it before the meeting and Bartek was out, so he does, and Andre didn't answer me so about that particular sub issue. So he told me there was only the API test, but he didn't comment on whether there was how the indexing was done. I'm not sure he knows. It's probably one of the other guys who's dealt with that. So Bartek would know who it is, but I'd have to go look and to see who it was that did that part of it.
Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, okay, I'll probably pop up an issue and try to find out what's the industry practice for testing that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get the definitive answer, you could look at the YAML file and just see what the YAML file is doing.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just afraid that it may cost a lot of resources to execute that on every pipeline or every merge to master or something.
Well, 5 million doesn't take that long. I think it's quite fast.
Yeah, true.
It's when you get to around 20 million, things start to get more costly.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah, that's pretty much it for all of my points.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a lot either, so I don't think I have anything else to discuss. Maybe somebody else has any issues.
I have one question. Hello. Did we test it and confirm the issue reported by guilty parties?
Can we talk about that offline?
Okay, no problem. Understand.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I don't think so.
Great. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you.
See you around.
See you. Bye.
See you. Thank you.